Right, let's have some reminders from last session. The party is sleepless and can't eat. You are mechanically capable of eating, but it's a very difficult permanent willpower check. Though everyone passed it last session, but that was almost more of a fluke than anything else. The doggo...
Can't eat. I think you'll find we were able to eat at this restaurant.
British. It's a willpower thing. I think the only person who was able to eat without a roll was we let Carl do it, and that was because he was eating on autopilot and didn't actually notice that he was fundamentally not hungry.
Sorry, I've just thought to myself, what a group of English nationalists, or at least people, extremely patriotic British people who
where's
in the army. You know which king famously was super into the idea of an England and died with unfinished business?
Alfred, I guess.
Alfred the Great.
Glorious golden boy Alfred. You don't touch glorious golden boy Alfred.
We're gonna touch it because we're going to make him king of the underworld. England shall stretch from sea to shining sea, or in this case, slightly dank sea covered in shadows.
One does not generally stand against Stygia for long.
They do if they're motherfucking Alfred.
There's like one historical figure who's managed it, and that's the fucking Jade Emperor guy, and he went into the afterlife with fucking.
Isn't that Chin?
Yeah, it's the terracotta.
Chin the Great.
It's the terracotta army guy.
He's the first emperor, right? Or
I believe so. My Chinese history's not great, but he
that guy.
He prepped so hard for the afterlife that he essentially came in with God mode on. And no one was ever really able to get along to beat his advantage. And Charon, the Stygian Emperor, similar situation. Anywho, this is all one giant fucking tangent for a game that we've not run yet and won't be for some time. The doggo has just sodded off. You've got a list of garden centre equipment in the Discord. It's currently nighttime, indeterminate. Oh yeah, you'd woken up, but after I think there was watch, you took different watches throughout the day. But you weren't able to tell what time of night it is because your consciousness is fraying a tad. And there were attempts. You wanted to climb the hill later. Seb is taking first watch. Popajack wanted to try and observe werewolves tonight. Popajack is currently Schlorp. We don't actually have a Schlorp Popajack name. Anyone got any ideas? We'll call him Zachary Smythe. Oh no, that's your name, isn't it? Smythe. Zachary Blythe. Christ, these fucking mind is taking notes tonight. There are alleged Khajiit on the moors. That's meta. No one can prove...
There are big cats that need an elephant gun taking to them.
I think you've got other problems. Everyone needs reprimanding for sleeping on the job, apart from Popajack. In this case, that's Blythe. The working class are useless, apparently. Make sure to have at least 2 sandwiches in pockets at all times. Yeah, there was a very abortive plan to have some way of distracting the beast on the moors using ham
sandwiches.
Which was foiled by the fact that you only had cheese and pickle available. Well, they only had cheese and pickle available. They sent your Schlort character after Carl, who wheelchaired back to to Tutley Without Wold in record time. And yeah, it was not a good situation for Schlort you, or Reginald Loxley Drive, as we were calling him. Cool.
I see.
So, I think that opens the session. Yeah, we have 2 Schlort characters. Holborn Twite is replaced with Alan, and Popajack is replaced by Zachary Blythe, who's also missing an arm, but it's the other arm.
Because, of course.
What are we doing, folks?
So, why have I been sent to catch up with Carl's character?
Mostly because they wanted to get you. This was at the start of last session. You don't have to worry about it now. You're all currently in the Tutley Inn.
Right. Okay.
But you were sent to catch up with your Schlorped version was sent to catch up with Carl's character, mostly to get you out of the way so that they could do awful things at the top of White Mountain, which were then kind of put off by the fact that they heard a howling shortly after and fled the scene.
Sorry, to find awful things.
Corpse experiments, playing around with the blood a bit more, seeing how it goes.
I think they were going to haul a corpse up there and see what that would do. On the basis that, they just stopped everyone, but they wanted to do a controlled blood sacrifice. With controlled in big old inverted...
And you mean the heavily armed vampire hunter wouldn't be a good idea to keep around in that situation?
Well, you told us off the first time you tried it.
Not to mention the fact that Schlorped you isn't particularly heavily armed. Because your armaments are not plot critical, so they don't stick with you when you pop out of reality.
Whereas when I pop back into reality...
Then they do come back, yes.
And suddenly...
To be fair, you were all
my revolver when you took our weapons in Dark Era.
I don't think of weapons.
God damn it, that was 4 years ago. Benji wasn't even playing at that point.
I was about to say, I was trying to think for a second, when did I take the weapons?
You did.
I don't remember taking the weapons.
There was
I was
one...
doing.
There was one fucking...
Never forget.
There was a checkpoint where they were required to surrender their guns or pass some fairly easy tests to get most of them in.
Or jam it up your ass.
This was the time
my
when
weapons got stolen.
when Ollie famously, in order to smuggle a gun into town, jammed it inside his anus. Whereupon it proceeded to, it went off because he didn't put the safety on, and he shot himself through the gut internally. But got his gun in, afterwards, and the guys just kind of rolled their eyes. And then, I think it was I think it might have been young Nicholas walked in afterwards and just offered the guy a pack of glow sticks, and then got in with his pistol to hand.
All I can see is just fucking Matt Berry in the IT crowd shooting himself in the leg.
Yeah, that is almost exactly how it was played. That's basically, it wasn't Matt Berry, so it was not that smooth. But the look on Ollie's face when the person afterwards was just able to slip the guy a pack of fags and he was sorted.
Was this before or after he received gut wound via internal intestinal trauma?
Moments after.
Yeah, I think it was moments after, yeah. Ollie, hadn't even crossed the bridge into town yet. Anywho, so then there was a whole thing with a zombie apocalypse in the town chandelier thing, and at some point the box that their weapons were in either got stolen because it was the big box of guns outside town and the guards nicked it whilst they were running away, or it got kicked overboard. They had plenty of opportunity. They had opportunity to go back and get the weapons. They didn't, and they were stolen in the meanwhile. And I have never heard the end of it. And if you've ever noticed that they're fucking reluctant to put weapons down under any circumstances in Dark Heresy, that is why. Because of this one box with some mook-tier pistols that I have never heard the fucking end of.
I thought it was mostly because of the ending of the first part of Dark Heresy, where the demon was ending up resummoned, and I believe the phrase used for Carl was, "You had no eyes, no sense of anything except touch, but you had a shotgun, some alcohol, and a will to team kill."
Yes, it was something along those lines.
And it was basically just it dissolved into shoot first because.
Yeah, no, it wasn't related to that. It was the box. The box did me, and you know what? I'd do it again. I have no regrets.
He admits it. We're right to guard our weapons.
I would say it's everyone else's fault for going through with it.
Oh, sure.
Okay, yeah, that's a different situation.
Oh dear, that's great. That was
why I carry melee weapons.
That was the first appearance of Actually Does His Job as well. And he caused you no end of problems by just asking you basic questions and not taking your lies at face value.
He was the guard at the gate. That's right.
He wasn't the guard at the gate. He was the guard at the gate of one of the major.
Not the
yeah.
Like the mayor or whatever.
Yeah, after you went in, the zombie apocalypse happened, and then I think you went to him to try and get guns or something, and you saw him taking off in a biplane from the back of the mayor's estate. You had some plans to murder him. I don't know. Anywho, let's call pace on it. Dark Heresy, fun times.
All in all, I'm heavily armed.
Yes, well, you're all back at the car now anyway, where your guns and ammunition are.
Oh yeah, Paperjack specifically dropped us all off ammo while we were sleeping.
Yeah, well, because you're all starting to get scatterbrained from the exhaustion. You've not had restful sleep in like 2 days at this point. You've not completely functionally been awake for 72 hours. It's better than that, but it's not that much better than that. You're like, I just worked an 18-hour shift on my feet the entire time, plus levels of tired. Still kind of manage it, but like upper tiers are able to manage it, or lower tiers, depending on perspective. What are we doing, folks?
Well, I mean, I was going to... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, can I finish reading that book I found?
Are we all back at the pub?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I think we should do a collation of information. Who's got academics?
Me.
I think I also have academics. Let me just check.
I have 2.
I might be more highly educated than you, then. No, I only have 2 as well. Okay. I have 4 in occult, but I only have 2 in academics. Carl, do you have academics?
No.
Shit.
I got the sweet book, though.
Basically, me and Creed did DOS degrees at university.
I don't know, to be fair, the classics at presumably Oxford and or Cambridge are not necessarily DOS degrees.
Yeah, but would you have had an education in the classics at Oxford or Cambridge if you have 2 in academics?
Coxford? Yeah, just not necessarily well.
Sorry, I thought you were doing a fucking bit there. It's like, at Oxford, maybe.
I forget which team my family supports in the boat race. One of them. They're very specific about it. I don't know. Putney people.
Wankers.
They're from fucking Putney.
They support the boat race. They don't automatically lob things at the boat race.
It goes part, like, fucking... God damn it, it's just a London thing. Screw. Anywho. Yes, you do have a sweet book. You are also dog-tired, which means, unfortunately, it's likely going to be a roll to process the book without just collapsing, as it is very, very
And
dry.
I will immediately become too excited to read upon first getting to the new information as well. What was that from?
Yeah, you had a flaw of some kind.
Oh, I'm cursed, yes. Oh, if there's any occult knowledge in there, I get too excited to read it while trying to read it for the first time.
It's fair.
Or first time it's new knowledge. What is roll?
Okay, well, first off, you open the book, and your blood runs cold. A sense of terror and dread overtakes you. An all-consuming fear, a phobia, if you will, as you note the number of chapters. 13.
Uh-oh.
Now, I believe you have, what's it called?
Triskaidekaphobia.
Triskaidekaphobia. Excellent.
I do, yeah. I'm casting this book to the ground, doing a little girlish yelp. Oh!
Okay, cool, yeah, that's a nope out from Woodrow Tango.
I can't read that. Can't. Someone else.
As you say, sir.
Pure professional. Nary even the slightest lift of an eyebrow in quizzical concern. Okay, so then, for yourself, Benji, I will take... I think that's going to be... I'm going to call it Stamina Academics, please, difficulty 8. To process the book in good fashion.
Okay. Simple fail.
Simple failure. Yeah, it's not that there's nothing in here, it's that it's dry. It's so unaccountably dry. There's fairly basic accounts of the details of the Roman conquest, an immense amount of stuff about findings related to local pottery. There's just so much of it that's your every standard archaeological. You have to be kind of like shaken awake. If you're in a fit state, you're certain you could process better information out of this, but in your disadvantaged state, you're simply not able to glean anything that's particularly of worth, unless you're especially interested in pottery finds.
No, I'm not. So, Sebastian, would you care to give this book a perusal? I think it's some of the only information we've actually got.
Unfortunately, if you're after information from that thing, I'm probably not your best go-to. As far as I'm concerned, those things may as well just be burn bricks.
Probably still better at it than me, sir. Being a highly educated man as an all.
Well, I suppose I can give it a try.
Do you have any dots in academics?
Nah, Bob.
I'll let you roll, Carl, but you've got 0 dots in academics. You don't even really know what you're looking for, so it's stamina, academics, diff 10, I'm afraid.
The willpower.
Oh, excuse me.
Willpower does not currently regenerate, I will remind you. Except
doesn't it?
if you fulfill your nature, or we've been giving them for like really zingy one-liners, but you have to like
really zing it.
Yeah, really zing it. Really young Nicholas keeps getting them.
Oh, fucking balls. 765. Like,
that's very pleasing, but it's no
it is, but yeah.
So, regrettably, you kind of pour through in a desultory fashion, doing your best to process information, but who really cares this much about pots? These were exactly the type of... Sorry?
Oh, excuse me. There aren't even any pictures in this thing.
These are exactly the type of nerds that you presumably couldn't stand at Oxford, or Cambridge, delete as applicable.
And it would be Oxford for if anyone cares.
What's, out of interest, just for a roleplay perspective, what's your degree in?
Me?
Yeah.
He has 0 in academics. Does he have a degree? Did you graduate?
Very expensively.
Doesn't have anything in finance, has some in investigation.
See, I was going to say history is like a knee-jerk reaction. But as far as I'm concerned, it's just the order of the hat paying for a piece of paper.
Okay, so you've got a degree, but you don't really remember what it's in because it was more bought than earned.
Yeah.
Good answer. Okay, so, sadly, nothing gained from the book. What do, folks?
I think, in that case, sirs... Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir, I've interrupted.
Oh, no, sorry. Clear my throat.
In that case, sirs, I think we should collate our various occult knowledge to see exactly what it is we're dealing with here. Clearly, this is not some kind of strange natural phenomenon, but rather the work of the occult.
Well, so far we know, we all shared a dream on the first night. People tend to head towards the mountain, and people can become violent if approached or agitated quite quickly. We also know that blood seems to be drawn from within the perimeter of the bowl, and that there is a structure atop the mountain, which is potentially hollow.
I say we find whatever's causing this and burn it.
I would agree, sir.
So
yes.
Oh, sorry.
Can we, obviously we're collating our occult knowledge, can we do a collective occult roll, or what information we can do?
What's the... I think that's more of a, like, you have to put your findings together in character. I'm not sure there's really much I can give you other than, like, letting you roll to solve your mystery, which doesn't feel...
Can we just roll to solve the mystery, please?
I'm not, like... No, I'm not letting you gather clues, then roll to solve the mystery.
But we want to roll to solve the mystery.
I feel like I feel like Creed's summary was pretty good. You know, if you've got anything else adjacent to that, but otherwise, please add it in. But otherwise, it sounds like you'll need to come up with an action plan.
Yeah, but we don't want the fucking meta.
At the very least, lines to investigate. Yeah, well, like I say, then either figure out what you want to do or figure out what you want to investigate next.
Well, Jack, I feel that time is of the essence, but I am concerned about returning it at this blip, 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 at this hour.
I would say, sirs, in my experience as a hunter for the most ancient and noble order of the Hat, that all of the signs, I would say, point towards a vampiric presence. But not one that I have come across. Not one of the kind I have come across. The ones we have usually encountered as part of our missions tend to be weak, often feral things of very little use
Could
in
perhaps
a fight and without controlling capabilities.
Could perhaps a vampire put under stone atop the mountain have devised an incredibly long-range and effective feeding method from beneath the dirt?
Perhaps, but the most hypnotism I've ever seen a vampire required eye contact, and even then didn't work on anyone with even the slightest strong will. At most, it devoured our sapi.
Oh, what about dream magic? Can they learn that?
I would not presume to be up to date on the subjects of the magics. Those are the higher mysteries for those truly entered into the most ancient and noble order. I myself merely work for the order.
Well, we know at least that we all shared a dream, and that seemed to begin this curse or what have you. So I think we can safely conclude that that's at least part of how it reaches people, or related.
And indeed, if the rumours are to be trusted, then the burial mound of the Roman war leader was located at the... I can't remember what we were calling the box.
Just a structure.
Okay. The stone structure atop the hill. It appears that all leads point in that direction. Unless any of us wants to go off to either St. Anselm's Well or Sprite Water.
Yeah. I could be swayed if someone has a good point of investigation to follow, but otherwise I think we should go for White Mountain. But the question then becomes, are we capable of waiting it out till sunrise, or shall we go now while we have some sort of energy?
I would say, sirs, that the most important factor when facing any kind of vampiric threat is the sun. Overwhelming firepower, fire, and the sun.
To reiterate from a couple of sessions ago, as far as your modern consciousness would be aware, it's hypothetically possible for vampires to be out in the sun. You just haven't seen it happen. You don't think they like it, but you don't know that it destroys them. Or that it always destroys them.
I'm going off my experience of hunting them where I run into them being active at night to think that they don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm just saying, like, the common literature would indicate that it's not preferential.
I literally took 4 points in freaking occult of vampire hunting. I'm not going to be taking pointers from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
It's more Varney the Vampire, honestly, but yeah.
Well, if we can get any advantage from sunlight, it may well be worth waiting for it.
Indeed.
So what now, then?
I think we prepare, sir.
I seem to recall we couldn't actually divine the time.
It's very true. You couldn't. This happened 9 minutes ago. Or was it an hour? 2? How long have you been discussing? There is not a clock, and you cannot divine. It was covered at the end of last session. You have no readily apparent way of telling what the time is, other than dark outside. It is at that point that all three of you find your ears prick up to something in the middle distance. Not a howling, more of a low, rhythmic growl. Or, as your ears adjust, not a growl, but the steady pops and thumps of an engine. An automobile. Somewhere
rush outside.
That's not our car, is it?
It doesn't sound like your car. I think you'd be very familiar with your engine sounds, to be fair.
Cool.
Or at the very least, the butler would be.
Yeah.
You rush outside. You can see several streets over, through gaps in houses, what look like headlights.
Is it heading into town, or is it heading towards us?
Heading gently into town.
Sirs, if you would perhaps join me in grabbing a rifle from the car, I feel we should investigate.
Certainly.
Investigate we shall.
Each of you grab a rifle. What is the tone with which you're investigating? Are we doing sneaky? Are we doing confrontational? Are we doing chatty?
Sneaky.
Okay, in that case, from whoever's in front, please. I will take...
Can we get some WD-40 for our wheels real quick? I don't want them squeaking.
Yeah, you know what,
We're not-
that's pretty fair.
Forgot about... I was about to say, we're not taking the car.
Alan.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, Alan scuttles forward, WD-40 in hand. And when was WD-40 invented?
It's just a lubricant. It's
Yeah,
just
no,
a
I'm
brand
just
of
curious.
lubricant, so...
Yeah,
American brand. History began in 1953. Okay, so with a non-Californian 50s brand lubricant, Alan, the communist...
He's literally got one of those little old oil pots.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Scuttles forward and begins oiling your wheels, muttering about the proletariat all the while.
Benji, were you better at me than stealth?
I have 3 points in stealth. I don't know how many you have.
I have 2.
Yeah, be sneak, perception, diff 7.
I have a lot of perception.
Would be a tad lower considering the darkness, but
I have
very
3
tired.
perception and 3 stealth. So
I'm even with 4 perception, 2 still.
Yeah.
it's up to you. How much willpower you got?
Not that much. I want to save it. Well, literally just 1. Emergency door willpower.
I got Okay, I got 3.
Go for it. Also might have food arriving soon.
I am going to spend a willpower.
You know? There's diff 8.
Exactly where it's going to not be needed, isn't it? It was needed! Haha, 1 success.
1 success. It's slow going. All 3 of you are exhausted, and even though 2 stay back to hold down the inn.
The bar.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have the car with all the guns here as well, to be fair. And the ammunition, for that matter. You have to move comparatively slowly just to make sure that you don't cause too much noise. Nevertheless, you creep forwards through several rows of houses over a street or two, till eventually you emerge a little ways up and to the rear of the vehicle. Now, I believe 2 of you served in the army, and 1 in whatever the Royal Air Force was called before it was the Royal Air Force.
Royal Flying Corps.
Royal Flying Corps, thank you. Did you know the fatality rates for that were like literally 95%?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 10 minuters is not a joke.
Yeah, the average lifetime is 3 weeks. Average life expectancy of a new pilot is 3 weeks. And by the end of the war, the British Army was giving pilots 5 hours of training before sending them up, and some of the other armies involved were giving them less. Yes, cool, sorry, fun times.
Sorry, not the 10 minuters. It's not the 10 minuters, the 20 minuters! That all-important extra 10 minutes.
So,
Out of context quotes.
for the 2 of you who were in the army, you recognise that vehicle. That is a British armoured car trundling down the street. Furthermore, one of you has academics. In fact, 2 of you have academics, actually, and would recognise, silhouetted against its headlights, a very crude, jury-rigged wooden Aquila poking out the top.
What?
Sorry, what?
What?
Sorry, have we gone crossover then?
BLB.
The Aquila was a Roman symbol long before it was the Imperium of Man symbol. It's a single-headed Aquila.
Sorry, yeah, but what else are we going to think when it's... We've had Catclop and Zanzarim arrive.
No, I think you'll find that the crossover that was pitched last week was all Khajiit Party versus all Zinch Party in the Yorkshire Moors. You missed a hell of a session.
Sorry, all Zinch Party.
I don't know, they were talking about Black Crusade, it was some weird crossover bullshit.
Fucking Zinch. Corn for life.
Yeah, I've always liked Corn.
You don't say.
It's big, angry face. His no nerds allowed policy, despite very obviously being a nerd.
Nerds are allowed. You just have to use your nerdery in cool ways.
Yeah, well, it's no nerds allowed where nerd is defined as sorcerer. It's just a really weirdly arbitrary. Anywho. Attached to the rear of the armoured car is what looks like maybe the base of a trailer, another car, something that's been stripped down, and inside it, shivering, manacled, locals. Locals will look too thin and weak to move by themselves. The car is gently trundling down the street. It stops in front of a house, and two silhouettes get out, both toting rifles. They move into the house and moments later emerge with another, thinner silhouette, clapped in irons. Dump it in the trailer and move on again. Elsewhere in the town, your ears are picking up somewhat more distant, but what sound like more engines. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's difficult to tell.
So they came into town with these guys on their trailer?
Looks like it.
From what direction?
From the way they're driving, would have been to the south.
Okay.
What do, folks?
My first instinct was to quietly kill them and then take their place, but we don't know where they're going.
We won't be able to tail them. Sorry, sirs, we won't be able to tail them.
Do we have specific orders not to notify the local authorities or army? I think we did, didn't we?
Yeah. But that was probably, more relevant before we shot 75 people.
74.
Well.
74.
I rounded up.
Yes, I don't believe you were supposed to let the local government know, yeah. But that was somewhat flexible, assuming that there was no good cause to.
Remember the aforementioned 74 people.
And who exactly would we notify at this point?
There is one government institution trapped within the area. If you'll check the map.
It's the army barracks.
The Tutley Barracks, yes, to the southwest.
I didn't go down far enough. So if they came from the south, they probably came from Embry.
Or the barrack.
Either or. Oh, well, I mean, as in, collected people, Embry. But,
Oh, yeah. Well, at least if they're collecting them, they probably don't want them going to the mountain.
I don't know, if they've got an Aquila on the car, then maybe, that's exactly
what
what
is
they're
an
doing.
Aquila about?
Let's do academics, see if we would know in character. Because otherwise, it's just meta.
No, it's you've got 2 dots in academics, and we've established you speak Latin. You would very well know that the Aquila is famously the symbol.
Do we speak Latin?
Some do.
I've been speaking Latin.
Yeah, we've been letting the people with dots in academics speak Latin when other people with Latin have it spoken around them.
That's new.
No, that happened 3 sessions ago.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think the first time was when the old lady attacked me.
Yeah. So it's the time it came up the most was, you weren't there, and then the next time it came up, you were there, but you may just... I think you were over the other side of the bowl when the first Latin stuff happened, so you just weren't around. So you just missed both the times that it's come up, basically. But we've been doing it for a while. But yeah, no, you would be very well aware that the Aquila is... one, it's generally a Roman symbol, but 2, it's somewhat more heavily associated with pre-Christian Rome.
Okay.
It's also an imperial symbol, which dates it.
So these people look like they're all affected by the curse themselves, from what we can tell?
I will take academics perception.
6 for me, I think.
Diff.
Oh, sorry, diff 7.
Hey.
1 success from Woodrow Tango.
2, isn't it?
Oh, you've got a... Oh, yeah, it's 2, sorry. Did you roll as well there, Benji, or was that your last roll?
No, I didn't roll.
Cool. So Woodrow, as you squint, trying to make out more details about the silhouette, you can see something. Now, this close to the border, that could well be a kilt. But if you didn't know better, You'd say that both of the figures are wearing what looks like a very poorly imitated legionary uniform.
Ah,
Again, it's difficult to tell with the silhouettes, but you can make out what looks like the sort of classic Roman toga cum skirt situation.
Did we have a spyglass at any point? I swear we did. I think I've got one.
Yeah, I think there was one back at the car, wasn't there?
I think I had one on the top of White Mountain.
Yeah, I think you had it in the car, but then that doesn't mean that it was in the car specifically. I think it was just on you. Sure, you can have a spyglass. I don't think that'll, because it's the lighting that's your issue at the moment. But I'm
looking for sort of vague shapes. If
silhouettes, you can
Tango,
definitely see quite well. Yeah, what are you looking for?
The shape of the helmets they're wearing.
They aren't currently wearing helmets, to be fair.
Yeah, does it look like they've sort of made Lorica segmentata or Lorica hermata?
It looks more like segmenta.
Right.
I believe. I might get my IRL history wrong, but I'm pretty sure segmenta.
Everybody does.
well, for now, I'll be happy just to try and keep following them a bit if we can stay stealth. See where I end up taking these guys.
Can I see if I do a perception check? Can I see inside the car if there's any other people in it, or if it's just those two?
Let me check what an armed car looks like in this period, but I'm pretty sure with the way the windows would be, you wouldn't be able to see much of anything.
Fair. Would we be able to use our military knowledge to know if you can fit more than two people in an armoured car at this period of time?
Yes, that would definitely be applicable. He says, speedily looking it up. Cool. What would that be? I guess that's... so it's probably recalling standard training. That would be intelligence... Intelligence leadership?
Could I do intelligence drive? Because
intelligence, yeah, actually, you know what? Either intelligence drive or intelligence firearms, whichever's higher. Difficulty 7.
1, 2, 3, 4 degrees of success.
Yeah.
My speciality in firearms doesn't help here because that's large caliber weapons.
Fair. You're very well aware that they have a crew of up to 4. At least the model you think you're looking at there. It's more of a truck than a truck car. But yeah, they have a standard crew of up to 4. You can fit more in at a squeeze.
I would like to relay this information to the rest of them. Gentlemen, there'll be up to 4 in that car. You must be careful.
It's also got machine guns, in fact, actually.
I'm just going to quietly harumph and frown in the darkness.
You creep down the road, watching as they go house by house, slowly filling up their trailer with the old, the sick, the too ill to make the climb. And when the trailer is almost full, the car peels off, moving down a side street, one that you know well will eventually lead them back to a road that rings around the southern half of town, and then see onwards to Spritewater and Spriteling, off to the east, or south, back to wherever they've come from.
Perhaps we should stop those fellows. I was hoping they might lead us to some sort of base, but I fancy we're just going to huck them up the mountain.
The question is, sir, how many there are. We can take out the 2 here. Really a fairly trivial shot. But if there are more inside, those machine guns could be rather nasty.
Not to mention, if they have any fellows out and about tonight, chances are gunfire will carry.
Exactly. Are the 2 men still wandering around?
No, they're back inside the main cab now that the car is trying to turn around. You can hear several other cars moving throughout the town now.
Oh dear. If it wasn't for those several other cars, I was about to sacrifice myself.
Sir, I think we should go and try and I think what we should do is we should scout out a car that is isolated from the fellows. I say from its fellows. When we find that car, I shall head out and attempt to take one of them alive, silently. If we can grab one of them, we can interrogate them and find out what exactly is these damned people are doing.
Well, it seems they're, for one, collecting those that are relatively infirm. If required, I can take the noble position as bait, considering this, looking at wheelchair. I should count as infirm.
Sure, sir. First we need to ascertain if we can find any other cars that are alone.
I would say
I
that
think they may be.
Sorry?
I fear they may be finishing up if this first car is. We have a more pressing time concern on our hands.
Their engines are quite loud. If you'd like to search out the others in town, it's probably quite easy. Then it's just going to be more of a bit of a gamble to try and find one that... It sounds like you were wanting one that was ideally far away from the rest and potentially with less people in it, or probably less people in it. So it'd be more searching for that, I guess, which is also somewhat doable.
An isolated one, if possible.
Okay. I will take, in that case, either perception leadership or perception investigation. Difficulty 7, please.
I got 6 on investigation.
I've got 3. I haven't got either of those stats. Can I give Carl an assist with the perception with my spyglass?
No, you can assist, what's it called? Abilities, but not attributes.
What was the roll?
It was the highest of either perception, leadership or perception investigation, diff 7. And also, the issue here isn't that you're necessarily like finding the cars. You can find any one of the cars. It's finding the cars in good time, finding the one that's like the most isolated, and hopefully picking people out at a vulnerable point. So it's like the confluence of lots of tactical factors, not lots of where is the vehicle factors. Because from their engines, you can kind of hear where they are around town anyway. Not like pinpoint accuracy, but finding each one in turn is not difficult.
Yeah.
It's finding each one and assess it.
I'd be at a 5 total with perception investigation, but I won't use my willpower.
Yeah, I got a 6 on it, but also not using willpower.
I got 3. I've got willpower to use, but whether or not we want to use it now or not is another question.
You just want to go for it, Cole?
Yep. 1, 2, 3 successor.
3 successes. With were you a captain or a lieutenant?
Lieutenant.
With Lieutenant Sebastian leading you, you're able to slowly creep through Tutley without WoD. You determine that there's 4 other armoured cars moving through the town. The first 2 you come across are clearly only halfway through their run, but they're both relatively close to each other. Furthermore, you see their machine gun turrets swivel, indicating that they clearly have at least one person in either turret. The next one is further away, but again, the turrets are swiveling. The final one, further away than that, and only one turret swivels whilst you watch, the other one staying stiff and still. You've found the best candidate you're likely to have. Furthermore, are able to pick out a likely spot at which to ambush it. How are we doing this? Are you waiting for people to come out? Are you going in guns blazing from the get-go? Are you setting your trap with Carl? Or Sebastian Thornbury, rather? What's our plan, folks?
I think, sir, it'd be best if we went with your plan. If you act as bait, luring them out into the open, I can jump down and should be able to eliminate them post-haste.
Indubitably.
Sir, if you'll give the order.
Help.
Sir, if you would take up an overlooking position.
Of course.
Yes. What was it? Were you Captain Carl? Sorry, or
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Thornbury? If you would give the order,
Lieutenant.
please, sir. Lieutenant, if you would give the order, please, sir.
Sorry, out of character.
I need willpower, Carl. Please give orders. Give me traditionalist bonus.
Well then, we shall proceed with the plan as arranged. Everyone to your designated locations.
At once, sir.
What's the requirement for traditionalist?
You've got to carry things out in the traditional manner, or when you succeeded the task by doing things in the traditional manner.
Fair. Yeah, okay. I think this qualifies as a task. It's not exactly going down the shops to get some milk, is it? Cool. So, 3 successes on your roll to find a suitable car. So you're also able to make sure that this one is the one closest to turning a corner. It's maybe only a third of the way through its run, having had slim pickings with the houses it's moved through. Its trailer at the back, impromptu, but poorly filled up. Before it's turned the corner, you position yourself, Sebastian, not quite in the centre of the street, but just off to one side, laying there in your wheelchair, looking as hopeless and destitute as you can, which is not actually that difficult given the heaving, fresh chest wound that causes you incredible agony with each breath into your one of which is punctured lungs. Meanwhile, Woodrow Tango has snuck across the street and taken up position in a house. It seems empty. The occupant appears to be surrounded by flies in the front yard. An anthill next to their face, gently recycling them into Mother Nature's savage grasp.
I'll be idly taking magneto readings off my science stick while overlooking. Rifle rested up nearby.
Yeah, it's going bonkers. On the other side of the street, we have Reginald Foxley Smythe, who's... Where did you want to be, Benji? There's... at least some of the houses are detached, so you have alleys as an option if you want them, or you can also be inside houses.
I was going to be skulking in an alley, waiting for Carl's distraction to come good, so I can jump out.
Yeah. Okay. All of you wait. It doesn't take long for the car to turn the corner, drive gently towards you. Stopped at several houses previously, but the occupants, at least from your point of view, Seb, seem like they come out, the driver and passengers seem like they come out empty-handed. You can see that the single machine gun nest is facing towards is on the right-hand side, facing towards Woodrow Tango, not towards Reginald Foxley Smythe. The car drives slowly up the street, pulling to a gentle halt just in front of you. From your position in the alleyway, Reginald, you can see maybe the middle bit of the car, the unused machine gun pointing eerily, almost directly at you, but completely unmoving. As the car idles, one door opens up, then the other. 2 men get out. As they walk in front of the car, eclipsing the headlights, you get a good look at them, Sebastian. They're wearing the tattered remnants of British Army uniforms. Around their necks are necklaces of human ears, and their faces are covered in savage, desperate cuts. What looks to be crude eagles, drawn in blood, carved into their foreheads. Likewise, their costumes are originally army uniforms, but now mere facsimiles.
I would just like to mutter under my breath, just not cricket.
Facsimiles of a layman's attempt. Actually, you are a layman, in fact. Facsimiles of, to you, looks pretty, damned authentic, Roman uniforms. They're wearing what look like poor quality lorica segmenta formed out of maybe leather, of questionable source and quality. And they've cut their fatigues into something like togas, albeit 2-piece. It's a poor attempt, but one with a lot of effort. Their eyes look wild. One eyes you up and down as he approaches, grunts, and moves to haul you out of the wheelchair. Stop me at any time when the other two of you want to do something, by the way.
There's only one soldier.
No, they've both got out of the car.
They both got out of the car.
And the occupied gun nest is on the right-hand side of the car, you're on the left-hand side of the car. So the occupied gun nest is swiveling around Creed's side of the street. Though if you thought a fucking knife was dangerous...
Yeah. Because, I mean, I can't lie, my thought is to try and kick him in the nuts, like the one that's trying to grab me, because I presume that they're, like, trying to get me out from the front of the chair, right?
They are indeed, and only one is trying to grab you. The other one is clutching a gun.
Okay. Right. Can the gun nest see the one that's clutching the gun?
Not really. It's like a 180-ish, I guess, field of fire. Maybe less than that, more like 160, and it's covering like the eastern, fuck it, we'll call it 180, and it's covering the eastern bit of the car, so it doesn't really get them at the front and to the left.
Okay. It's fine. In which case, I'm going to draw my knife, I presume I have, given I'm a big game hunter, who's heavily armed.
You are perfectly at liberty to have a knife.
It's not a knife, this is a knife.
So you played Knife is Spoony before?
Right, in which case I'm going to try and sneak up behind the one that's got the gun. One arm round the face, cutting off the air supply. Knife up under the ribs, going for the heart.
Fair. So I don't think I'd said it, but I had it in my head that he was on the other side. So I don't think it's fair for me to just say to veto the plan. So should we call it odds or evens for which side he's on?
Sure.
If you call it correctly, he's on the side you want him. Otherwise, he's not. Call odds or evens?
Odds, no evens.
Evens indeed. He's on the side you want him on.
Always swap.
Always
Them's
swap.
the rules.
Cool. Okay. In that case, we'll call that stealth melee, please. It's
That's 2 skills.
Oh yeah, what the fuck am I doing? My brain. Sorry.
So it's a stealth roll to get up to him, and then a melee roll to knife him without alerting him.
I think if you get up to him, I'll let you knife him without alerting him. So you can... Here's what we'll do. You can either do a stealth roll to get up to him without alerting him, or you can do a melee roll for a mad dash to get up to him and stab him, but without him having time to react. Because in either case...
I'm going to try the stealth roll.
Cool. In either case, the guy with the gun is probably going to notice, but,
That's what I'm going for.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going for the other guy.
No, I'm going for the guy with the gun.
Oh, fair. Cool. Thank you for clarifying. So that'll be, in that case, we'll call it Stealth Dex Diff 8.
Okay, spending a willpower.
Valid there. Willpower on the stealth kill, yes. Willpower on the book reading, maybe.
1.
Background Frankie.
0. 1, 2, 3. 3 degrees of success.
3 successos. Okay. Is Frankie alright? She's meowing a lot.
Yeah. I just woke her up.
Aww. 3 successos. Okay, Reginald, do you want to give me a... How does this go?
Colours for shame as the knife goes in under the fucking heart.
You sneak up. Not even Sebastian notices, whispering gently in his ear. The other man's cobblestone boot, the tread of the other man's cobblestone boots, disguising both your approach and his comrade's death as he advances on Sebastian.
Been hobnailed.
Sorry, yes. Regular boots on cobblestones. My bad, I completely fumbled that. Yes, cobblestone boots, the new hipster boots, carry the cobblestones with you, so everywhere feels like weird bobbly things. I actually really like cobblestones. Your knife slips between the ribs and into his heart. He makes a strangulated gasp, but you're prepared. And it's kept to a minimum. If the other guy hears it, to be fair, he might if he's paying attention, he makes no sign. Sebastian, what do? An arm reaching down to grab you already.
Swift kick in the nuts attempt, at least.
Yeah, you've got the element of surprise. I will give you Dex Brawl diff 5. That's a successo. A swift kick in the nuts, indeed. Your foot lashes out and connects with the man's testicles. He squeaks and falls over onto the pavestones, utterly surprised. Cobblestones. Both you and, Reginald, have a brief moment to act.
I'm going for the car. There's someone's in that machine gun nest. I'm going to try and sneak into the car and take them out.
Okie
Can I try and start aiming up a line on the guy on Carl, just in case?
Yeah, there's the one on the floor. Yeah, sure, you can prep that. We'll give you -1 difficulty. He's kind of momentarily incapacitated, but it'll be up in a second. Let me just have a look at this armoured car real quick. Let's see. How do you do this? Cool. So I'll share a picture of the car. So this is what you're dealing with.
Oh.
Funnily enough, apparently it's got a steering wheel in the back as well, because it was so difficult to maneuver in tight spaces that rather than make it less difficult, they just made it so you can get out and drive it from the other end as well. Which is, I mean,
British ingenuity.
I don't know if we should be proud of that one. Oh dear. So I can't actually see how the little cages at the back with the machine guns would be latched, but I would assume it's probably latched from the inside.
I think you can see some part of the seat or something through the cage.
Yeah, that's for inside the passenger compartment, right? But oh no, you're right. Yeah, they're not discreet. Yeah, no, you're entirely correct. Yeah, so sorry. As you approach the car, yeah, you can see them through the wire cage and can confirm there's no man in the left-hand turret, but there is someone in the right-hand turret. What are we doing, Reginald? The door's actually open. In fact,
I wonder if I can get close enough for a kill.
As you sneak forward, there is a yell from behind you, as the man on the floor cries out something in Latin. And a single word, I should translate. Perfidia! He screams.
Even I can understand that one.
Yeah, doesn't exactly take a dot in academics for that one.
Yes, I definitely know what it means.
Perfidy.
Yeah.
Cool. So, in that case, that means the guy in the turret has also been alerted. The machine gun springing to life, trying to rotate forwards. What do from both yourself and Creed?
Am I close enough to go for him without him turning the gun and shooting me?
I don't think it turns inside the car. So he'd have to pull a sidearm or something.
Has he noticed me, or has he noticed Carl?
He's not yet. He's swinging the gun around looking for what's gone wrong.
Permission to fire, sir?
But why? There's no one up there.
Yeah, well, he can yell it across the street.
That's going to attract the attention of the guy in the gun. I suppose that gets the attention off me.
Gunshot, yeah.
I wasn't going to shoot him, I was going to knife him.
I'm going to say you're on a big time limit here. You have a split second to react, both of you. So, what are we doing?
I'm going for the Glasgow intervention.
Which one are you going for? One on the ground?
The guy in the gun nest. I'm going for the...
Okay.
Going for the
I'm going to shoot at the other guy.
But we want one of them alive.
No, I'm not going to shoot the other guy.
The other guy's probably going to go for Carl. Sorry, Carl, I'm getting weird static from you.
Sorry. Is that any better?
Think so? Yeah, it stopped. Cool. In that case, Reginald Foxley Smythe, I'm going to call that Dex Melee. It's kind of like having to do a flying, not quite a flying leap, but you're having to throw yourself into the car, knife out, and just tackle the guy before you can do anything. So I'm going to call it Dex Melee Diff. I'm kind of torn between Diff 7 and Diff 8. Which do you think is fairer? How do you see yourself?
I think I've got to open the card. I've got to open the cage door first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the door's
A.
ajar, right? So you have to fling it open, but you don't have to, like, grab on anything.
Yeah.
We can defate it.
Question is, do I spend a willpower? That will put me down to 1. I can always regenerate it through traditionalist action. Yeah, I'll spend it. And just when I don't need it. 4 degrees of success.
4 successes is you're in there, and at just about the moment that he's starting to uncertainly reach for his sidearm, your knife has already slid into his throat.
As he dies, I would like to look him dead in the eye and say, "You took the king's shilling."
His eyes show only madness back, glinting in the darkness, before the light finally fades from him. Meanwhile, outside, Sebastian Thornbury, you're being assaulted, as the remaining legionnaire, shall we say, hurls himself to his feet at just about the moment that your support hurls himself inside the armoured car, and comes at you, screaming bloody murder. Or you assume so. You don't actually speak any Latin whatsoever. What the fuck does perfidia mean?
I start heading down the stairs to the street at this point.
1, 2, fuck! Rifle in one hand, magnetic doohickey in the other. Carl?
I'm just gonna try and kind of, like, I say, in my mind, I want to, like, tip the chair over and try and, like, roll away and use it as, like, a barricade in between us.
Oh, drop and roll!
You are at -3 pool mod on strenuous physical action.
No, it's only 2. It's only 2.
Oh, is it only 2?
Yeah, which I did minus from my previous roll, which was why it was only a 2.
I thought it was a bit low, but fair. Sorry, -2 pool mod on strenuous physical rolls then.
But yeah, I've got, like, no other options so far as I'm aware, because, like, I'm pretty sure that I don't still have my rifle on me.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be any good way to disguise it.
So yeah, like, are we good for that?
Yeah, okay, let's see how it goes. I think you're gonna probably get a pretty heavy pummeling. Let's see how he does. Not amazingly well. His focus is off. His punches land in places that are difficult to severely wound. The shoulders, the ribs, the chair itself. One catches you straight in the jaw, and that sends shards of white-hot pain pulsing through you. For a moment, your world spins. And then, unbeknownst to you, Woodrow Tango, having pelted down the stairs and across the street, arrives behind you. Woodrow, what are we doing?
I want to try and club the guy around the head with my rifle.
It's fair. I will take, I guess World War One. That counts as melee, right? Yeah, I'll take Dex. I'll take Dex melee. Diff 6. He's distracted. Diff 5.
Oh,
that's 2 successes. Blinded,
wacky stick.
Blinded by his rage, nevertheless, the man goes down. Not unconscious, not knocked out, but momentarily stunned, giving Reginald Foxley Smythe just about enough time to slip out of the car. You have a precious few seconds in which to do whatever you want to do, folks.
I want a dogpile on him. I'm going to jump on him.
Okay, anyone else?
He's being dogpiled already. I shouldn't need to intervene. I suppose
one
I should.
man's not much of a dogpile.
Yeah.
He slurs heavily as you dogpile onto him.
The other two are dead, right? In which case, yeah, I'll go join in and subdue him.
Trying to muster the will to scream.
We got rope from the garden centre. Can we have just had our rope on us?
We were looking to capture someone.
You were looking to capture someone. I think it's fair to say that you have the... Well, I suppose to be fair, you got the 3 successes on the leadership thing, and you weren't that far away. It's not too... Yeah. I don't think you brought it out of the house, but it's pretty fair to say that you might have, like, nipped back, grabbed a coil of rope, and then nipped out again. It's got very blades in the dark for a moment there. Okay. So, how are we tying him up then, folks? I guess if if Woodrow is holding him down, it's probably Reginald Foxley Smythe doing the tying. What are we looking at here, Benji?
Well, as you might know from my backstory, I am a Batman and a hunting guide. I'm going for full trust deer.
Okay. I will take... Let's take a look. It's probably survival. Yeah, we'll call it Dex Survival Diff 6.
Simple failure.
As he wriggles like crazy, making it extremely difficult to get anything around his hands. The few seconds, 5, 10 or so that were bought you were enough to start getting the rope on him, but not enough to prevent him from wriggling hard enough to get away. And then, as he starts to come to a little bit more, still held in place, he begins crying, screaming out into the night.
Gonna have to kick him again, aren't we?
Remember, you've concussed several people so far. If you head injury him enough, he will just be unusable to you. I guess I will take an opposed roll between Woodrow, Tango, and the Legionnaire. That's going to be a direct strength brawl, but you can have a +1 to your pool mod for, I just assume, Reginald Foxley Smythe assisting. Call it Div 6.
Great.
2 successes. 1 success. He puts up a damn strong fight attempting to wriggle away, but between the two of you, you're able to keep him more or less in place, even if he's not exactly tied up. He does, however, continue screaming out into the night sky.
Hang on. I'm a gentleman's Batman. That means I'm fully furnished with a large variety of handkerchiefs.
I think that's fair.
Can I stuff a handkerchief into his mouth to stop him crying out?
Yes, you can.
Or several handkerchiefs into his mouth.
Sorry, I've been, trying to hint at that so hard for, 3 minutes.
Is it wrong that I'm imagining, clown handkerchiefs where they're just all tied together, just being pulled out and then stuffed down his throat?
I think it's more like getting tissues out of a box type of a thing. You pull one out, that pulls the next into position. You pull that out, pulls the next into position. The gentleman's clown handkerchiefs.
Indeed.
Cool. Strength survival, diff 6. Diff 5. You're just kind of stuffing them in his mouth. 3 successes.
3 successes.
He is gagged. You're having a difficult time tying him up, but you're able to manhandle him somewhat at least. However, he did get a good, solid few cries out in there. It's difficult to tell what the Latin was, but it's also entirely possible he may have been overheard by some of the other cars. Certainly you've been hearing their engines idling. What do?
We need to get out of sight as fast as we can.
We could chuck him in the car, hide in plain sight.
Where exactly would you expect us to hide, sir?
The armoured car.
There's no sides on the armoured car, sir, and we're not wearing the uniform.
I doubt they'll look that close if we just
the uniforms that
the
uniforms that the now deceased people are wearing are covered in blood.
They're not going to see the side from every angle. If we just slowly potter down the street, we might be able to fit in.
I admire your enthusiasm, sir, but I really do.
My only fear is if we leave it here and potter into a house, is one of the first places they'll look.
You can hear an engine in the not-too distance.
We have to make a move, sir. Sir Sebastian, what do you suggest?
Sir Sebastian actually appears to have slightly evacuated the scene. You've been discussing for maybe 20 seconds, and as you look around, you notice he's 10, 20, 30 foot away in his wheelchair, rolling back the long ways towards the pub.
I suggest we follow Sir Sebastian. I'd just like to heft the prisoner and start running.
Oh my!
That's going to be a roll.
Oh yeah, I gathered that.
I will take strength brawl diff 8, please. You can have a willpower for your insisting on a chain of command for the whole thing and it going well.
There's a Do I spend the willpower immediately? Yes, I do. 2 degrees of success. It's tough going, but it's honest work.
I probably should have called your floor on Carl retreating right in front of your face without telling anyone, shouldn't I?
Probably, but you didn't.
I mean, it would still be a success even with the willpower. It would still be a 1 success anyway because of the willpower. So, I think it's fair to say. I twitching at the impropriety of it, you nevertheless beat a hasty retreat after the gentleman, followed afterwards by Woodrow Tango. Just as you leave the street, you hear another car enter it, and shouts, cries. And then, nearby, you hear something, a fence shattering, a slow, lumbering tread.
Nah. They have not got an actual goddamn tank.
That was less the tread of one of the newly invented tanks. Just 3 years old at this point, I think?
Yeah. 1916.
Yeah.
Part of my incredulity.
And more. I mean, maybe at a particular county fair you might have heard a especially heavy-set cow with such a tread. But that was a footfall.
Oh.
Now, I think Sebastian, to be fair, started off first, so we'll say he's a little bit further ahead, and he's already sort of managed to somewhat get out of dodge again. However, Reginald and Woodrow, something in your core freezes up. Can I take a courage check from both of you, please? Difficulty 8.
Do it.
Huzzah! 1 success. This may be a terrifying situation, but we're British, damn it.
From the both of you. Unfortunately, the presumably also British man slumped over your shoulder. Well, I suppose unfortunately for him.
He is spat on the king's colours, he no longer counts.
He does not pass his courage test, and faints, ceasing his wriggling. Something moved through the shadows nearby, through the alleys. Something tall, 10, 11 foot. Something large and furred. Something with sharp, glinting teeth. And deep yellow eyes. Something that speaks to you of a deep, primal fear. A flashing...
primal urge to grab an elephant gun.
Of flashing death. Of ancient campfires. And whole tribes murdered. You feel that sensation of sheer terror, of utter, purified dread begin to overtake you, but you grit your moustaches and hold the line. The shape lumbers past and back into the alleyway you came from. The spell that holds you frozen passes, and the two of you share a glance as the beast moves towards the car.
The armoured car, or...?
It was going into the sort of street that the second armoured car was just entering, and which you left the other armoured car on.
Oh, okay.
What do from you two? Sebastian's making it very clear that he's sodding off back to the inn at all costs.
Well...
Sir, are you Holman Twite, sorry, or are you...
I'm Woodrow Tango.
Woodrow. So, Tango, I hate to say it, but I think we need more information as to what that thing is. Do you think we could find our way to a vantage point?
I suppose so. I was just sort of hoping it was also an enemy of our enemy, and they might figure themselves out.
That's what I mean, sir. But obviously we can't trust that it's an enemy of our enemy.
A low rumbling.
You, sir, as you know, sir, you are a scientific man. We need proof. Hard proof.
A low, rumbling, yet somehow hollow howl splits the night sky.
Well, I never did get any good pictures of the things. Yeah, let's go get a better look at it.
The two of you creep backwards, hopping deftly over a small fence, letting yourselves into a deserted house. You do actually pass the owner, but she gives you nary a gasp and goes back to rocking quietly on the floor, head in her hands, gently chewing away at the stumps of her fingers.
Oh, so they don't get stabbed!
If I stabbed everyone, Carl, there wouldn't be enough
And I
stabbing
wouldn't
to
feel
go around.
special.
Yeah. You sneak over to the front window, and though it's at a bit of an angle, as the two of you peer down the street, you can see an incredibly awkward stalemate. The monster standing, yes, a clear 11 foot high. A giant humanoid mass of fur and teeth, with a vaguely canine snout, stands staring at a car. Another armoured car that's pulled up just alongside yours. There are 2 legionnaires outside it, one of them crouched over the body of the murdered gunman. The other one slowly standing up and staring at the monster. That's when one of the machine guns opens up. Bullets plough into the beast, and it falls backwards for a moment, staggering, and then it growls. The machine gun continues to fire, but even through its staccato hell noise, you can still hear that deep, low, rumbling growl, and the beast launches forwards. A lot of things happen very quickly. One of the legionnaires is sent flying into a nearby building. They more or less splat against the wall, becoming half outline of themselves, half red paste.
Is it wrong that I'm imagining, like, a combo between, Batman's splat effect and, Wile E. Coyote when he gets, smashed into something and there's that, little outline before he gets peeled out?
Wile E. Coyote, but with human gore, is not
I was just thinking the
necessarily
Deadpool
accurate.
bridge scene where the guy hits the sign.
The what bridge scene?
The bridge scene in Deadpool, the first one.
Fair.
Where the guy gets flung out Moot gets flung out of a car and impacts a Stein, and he's going 200 miles an hour at the time. He just gets pancaked.
Cool. I don't really remember it. Huh. The other guy flies down the street in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Head a spray of jumbled bone fragments and grey matter, his brain untangling into one giant wet noodle, or looking like it at least. Ribs scattered across the cobbles. Legs lying daintily crossed, 10 foot from any other part of his body. The other machine gun has likewise started to open up, trying its best to get a field of fire. But the front of the car has been torn away and hurled into the night sky. And then both gunners come out. One, eviscerated immediately, turned into nothing more than red mist and flying gore-slick bones. The other one held in 2 hands, and gently, slowly squeezed. He screams his defiance in halting, accented Latin, but lasts maybe 5-6 seconds before his body is nothing but pulp. Pulp that the beast holds up and begins to gently squeeze into its muzzle, opening its mouth, draining the blood. What do, folks?
Well, that's just revolting.
I was going to mention that koalas are quite literally smooth-brained, but that doesn't really...
The monster's head snaps up at the comment. Up. And more or less towards your house.
What comment?
No, not from you, from Reginald.
Oh.
A single ear twitches.
I just hold my tongue, sort of look at Reginald, thumb facing backwards out the house.
I would like to nod very slowly, trying to be as silent as I possibly can now. Indeed, let us leave this place. But the words conveyed via nod.
Yeah.
Your eyes
Nods and
say
eyes.
everything.
Yeah.
Stealth dex diff 6, please.
The one or the two?
Cread, shall we spend our final willpower on this roll?
I suppose we could. Then I can't open any magic doors.
Yes, but equally,
Oh, you
we
are.
don't want to get caught by a giant werewolf.
I'm going to risk it. Do you want us to do individual rolls?
Nah,
Make
you
it
can have
spicy?
whoever's got better.
You risking it for a biscuit?
I'd be willing to risk it, yeah.
Risk it.
Because, you know,
Proverbial biscuit.
I can just get in my magic door for an hour and hope it's all done by then. My willpower's out regardless.
Actually, to be fair, you could open a door, stand in front of it, and dodge out the way, sending the beast through the door.
Well, I think I need a second willpower to close it first, although I think the door only appears for me, so on the other side.
Oh.
I'd have to read it again.
So only you could escape.
I think I could bring people with me. But if you left me, you would be lost in there forever.
He's not wrong. Natural
Also-
exits and entrances to the underworld are few and far between.
It'd be a second willpower if we overstay. And
I just
lose
fucking
the door
love
for
that the
hour,
most
which I don't
efficient
have.
method of travelling to and from the underworld in the entirety of the world of darkness is a shit tier sorcerer power.
I think it's great. It makes total sense, right? Like, if any faction is going to be overlooked, no one listens to hedge wizards, man.
No one does listen to hedge wizards, that's true.
No offense, Carl.
What? Like what? I mean, like fine.
So, what are we doing, folks?
They see me rolling. They hate it.
You want to take the roll, Benji?
Yeah, go for it. Oh, we risking it for a biscuit then?
Botch.
Yeah, do a big risk.
Big boy botch.
Ah! Holy crap, that could have been bad. The
Is
pass to 1 degree, but
indeed a pass.
that could have been so much worse.
Maybe it's Wonder Dog and he'll be our friend.
Every tiny noise that you make as you step out of the house backwards, every little rustling of fabric, every slight stirring of the fainted legionary on your shoulders, makes your heart leap up to your throat. But foot by foot, step by step, you move back, gingerly climb over the tiny fence, and then creep through the alleyway. You never find the courage to break into a run, or even so much as a jog. Though you can't hear any more engines around town, who knows where the beast is.
Yeah, I don't think we're worried about the engines.
I mean, the machine guns can still kill you fine.
Yes. But what do you think we're panicking about slightly more?
Fair. And so you arrive back at the inn, maybe 10, 15 minutes after Sebastian Thornbury. What do, gents?
Righto, chaps. You have any trouble returning?
There's one of those giant wolf men crawling around. I think we gave it the slip.
Yes. I think we can safely say that whatever it is that these chaps are doing with regards to collecting people and serving some kind of strange manifestation of the Roman Empire in their own minds is really annoying the local fanged monstrosity.
Curious.
Indeed, we were curious about it up until the point we think it heard us, at which point we'd beat a hasty retreat, and we don't think it followed us, so...
So the enemy of our enemy may not necessarily be our friend.
It may not
I'm
be
just
our
hoping
friend.
It's that wonderful dog.
I mean, I'm presuming it went in, like, the headlights of one of the cars at one point, right?
Yes.
So, like, I mean, were there any...
Is it the same colour as Wonder Dog?
It was grey as well, I guess.
I mean, sirs, it was 11 foot tall. It's not exactly dog-sized.
Yes, the
but-
dog that you
Oh,
met
there was
yesterday...
the first one, was it not?
The dog that you met yesterday that you will well recall was a large, but not that large, Irish wolfhound of some description. It certainly looked a tad feral, but it was very unmistakably a dog, in your opinion, as someone with zero animal ken.
But we've seen one transform into a dog when it died before.
Yes, at the Egbert Arms. Or something.
Was that a
looked
similar
like-
kind of dog to the one that we saw?
That one looked almost more like a muttish wolf.
With zero animal ken, dogs are dogs.
Yeah, it's kind of being entertainingly fucking all of you. You probably know what a greyhound is, and the rest of it's kind of like,
We know what a gun dog is, we know what a greyhound is.
Yeah.
Everything else is dog.
Exactly.
Unless it's a chihuahua, then it's a rat.
With social pretensions.
Well, safe to say, I think it's rather dangerous to go out at night. Or whatever the current time is.
I think it's safe to say, sir, that doing anything to antagonize that thing would be a poor move.
Indeed.
So, do we retire for the night? How should we move from here?
I think, sir, we need to interrogate this gentleman. Of course, he's not behaving like a gentleman in any sense.
Just to reconfirm, that was the guy that kicked the shit out of me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. I'm gonna wheel myself over and start kicking him.
I will say, sir, we do need him alive.
Oh yeah, I'm just going for, like, fleshy places rather than, like, damaging places, you know what I mean?
Fair. Just what you'd want to know, sir.
But yeah. Just venting frustrations, as it were.
I see, sir. Entirely understandable after the night you've had.
But yeah, do I wake him up at all?
Yeah, he starts to stir. I think in the interests of fairness, we'll say that your butler intervenes to get him bound up before you kick him to full wakefulness, but eventually he stirs. Still gagged on an assortment of handkerchiefs.
Damned useful things, neckerchiefs.
Alan in the background blinks one eye at a time.
Well, if you want to do some investigation getting, I'll just sit over here.
Screams the prisoner through his gag.
Oh, I will say, sir, that big wolf is still out there. Don't want to be too loud.
His eyes speak of madness, and he doesn't seem to register your words.
I say the Latin for big and wolf and point outside.
Do you know what? You do speak Latin, and both big and wolf are pretty easy words. Magna lupus. I think it's lupus magna.
Lupus bigum.
Biggest lupus? Cool. Woodrow, I will take charisma empathy, please, diff 5.
I have any empathy?
You did sneak back to observe the werewolf as well, so you can have a willpower for curiosity fulfilled again.
I'm going to be greedy. Not use it.
Fucking double 10s.
Now, that's magic right there.
That is magic. He blinks slowly, stares outside, and shudders. For a moment he looks like he's considering yelling some more, but the prisoner quiets. What are we doing, folks? You have captured a legionnaire.
I think, Cread, you speak Latin?
You can use him as a translator, to be fair. I'll say that you don't... For non-complex topics, I'm not going to make you roll Latin to decipher everything the guy says. Or you can at least get the gist of it, but you can roll other stuff through him. It'll probably just make it a bit more difficult.
I'm just going to be obedient. I'll assist whenever I can.
Fair.
Yeah, kind of wishing I took points in intimidation now. I mean, what would questioning be?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You probably need to, figure out what the questions you want to ask are.
Yeah.
Presumably stuff like, why the symbols?
Okay, maybe make some, brainstorm it, make some notes in Discord, and then we'll go.
Yeah, because I was thinking, who do you follow?
Yeah. Who do you serve?
Yeah.
Cool. I hope one of you is writing it down.
It's Corella, baby.
What was the other question you put forward, Benji?
I think he's doing baby things.
No, I'm typing.
Oh, fair.
Oh, okay. 'Cause, yeah, I was.
Whom do you serve? That's literally the Saruman line. I serve Saruman. It's
all the cameos tonight.
from when Dr. Claw auditioned to be an Urukai.
Like, he is way overqualified for that role.
I'll get you next time, hobbits.
I could easily see Saruman there just like feeling threatened in his position, just like, no, this guy's too good, can't have that.
Oh, fucking hell. I have so few accents I can do. Why are they never
You can
ones?
do Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I could
which
do,
I can't do.
I could do, like, I flatter myself, I can do Dr. Claw pretty well, and my Golem's not too shabby either. And that's it. That's basically it. I guess West Country, but that's cheating. That's just my accent.
Yeah, that is cheating.
I mean, it's still an accent.
That's true.
Yeah, what was their purpose for gathering people?
Also pretty fair.
I say in the same vein, what is their end goal?
Interesting.
Because, yeah, I mean, like, I say one's a fallback on the other in my mind, because maybe as a mook he doesn't know the whole plan, but just what he's been ordered to do.
Where did you come from, specifically?
So we'll probably do what we usually do with interrogation stuff, where we give you a roll, and then your number of successes determines how many questions you get. So we'll somewhat prior these, but it's still probably not a bad shape to like have them listed out. Do you feel you all have got a good list?
Fairly good list.
Alright, let's see. What are our valid forms of intimidation? I would take... I don't know why I'm looking at Woodrow's sheet. That's just moving away from his notes.
God damn it.
Sorry. I wasn't paying
I was
attention.
typing.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Not for you.
I didn't even realise you were back.
Oh, no worries.
It's just you were the character I had in the top right. So I opened it automatically because I opened from the right. So I think it's probably going to be either strength or manipulation, and either intimidation or expression.
Can we intimidate using certain things, like melee, if I armed myself with a series of kitchen knives and started, making very small cuts across him?
I would let you do medicine in that case.
I do have medicine.
You know what's a real shame? I'm actually just looking at sheets right now, and do you know who has 5 dots of manipulation and 4 dots of intimidation?
Fucking Poperjack, isn't
Fucking Poperjack.
Damn it, Poperjack!
Oh.
No, we're grilling him for it next session.
I don't know if it's an emergency or if it's like just a conflict of schedules he's had come up this week, but it is deeply funny. Dear. Oh well. I think medicine's probably a reasonable ask. We definitely torture and medicate the same skill of Dark Heresy and fuckers. We play a lot of that. In that case, it would probably be manipulation rather than... No, you can still take manipulation and strength, whichever's higher.
Okay.
So your valid attributes are either strength or manipulation, and your valid abilities are expression, intimidation, and medicine.
Okay, I will take strength medicine, please.
Cool.
What
we will call that a... He's probably going to be quite inured to this. If nothing else, there's a lot of self-mutilation. But also, this is a pretty severe situation, and you've already scared him with the biggest Wolfus situation. So we'll call it no scores draw. No scores draw. All the things being equal, diff 7.
Okay. 2 successos!
Is indeed 2 successors. Okie dokie. In that case, we will give you 2 questions plus a bonus question. So, net of 3. Which questions do you want to ask?
What do we think is most important?
So the ones you had
Questions
listed
first.
were, whom do you serve, where do they reside, what are they, why are you gathering people, what is your goal, and where did you come from? If anyone breaks out into Cotton Eye Joe... No,
That was going through my mind.
I know it was. No XP this week if it happens even once. I'm not...
I mean, good, because if you think about that song for more than, 2 seconds, oh boy!
How's everyone doing with Whamageddon this year?
What?
Whamageddon.
What's Whamageddon?
I posted it in the chat. It's the, what's it called? How long can you go before hearing wham and realizing that you're hearing wham?
Oh, about...
Oh yeah, you lost.
10 minutes.
You're
10 minutes
out,
when I went into work and they were playing Christmas songs.
Yeah. I'm still in it. But
You live in Sweden. That's cheating.
no, they still play English language Christmas songs mostly.
I'm on my own, and I only play what I want to listen to, so... But I'm on my own.
Oh, Carl. Cool. Yeah. What do we want to ask, folks?
I feel like what is your goal is an important one.
If we only get 3, right?
Yep.
Whom do you serve? Why are you gathering people? And what is your goal? Would be my picks.
Although I'd lead with what is your goal and see if that covers why you're gathering people. That's the case.
Fair.
The Latin is halting, stilted, and from your point of view, tango, not actually particularly correct, though it's been a while for you. Nevertheless, you're able to make out the gist of the reply. Could you repeat the exact phrasing of the question for me, please?
For the first one, whom do you serve, right? That first one, don't you?
Yeah.
Or were we not going to start off with...
what was your goal? Was the first one, as you said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's much talk of resurrection, of renewal, of bringing the master back, of atoning for sins long past. A fair amount of it's... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
Fair. A fair amount of it's babble, but those are the recurring themes of returning the master, of atoning for the crimes of them, their ancestors. It's difficult to say.
Fair.
Okay.
And of recreation.
You already know that probably involves getting all the corpses thrown out, and I think it's safe to say that's sort of why they're gathering people. Well, we could get more detail.
I mean, I say go for it. Deep in my heart, Sebastian is pretty much just prepping to go back to what he suspects is the burial mound.
Yeah.
And digging whatever it is up and burning it thoroughly.
I think we've got the evidence that there is something in that burial mound that people are trying to sacrifice stuff to. So, location, we're pretty sure.
Yeah, I think this covers a whole lot of it.
So, what's your next question for me, gents?
So, of these questions, we've got... what is your goal? Why are you gathering people? And whom do you serve? So, why are you gathering people? Or is that covered by what is your goal, do you think?
I feel like that was kind of gathered. Maybe, how does the ritual work? Or how complete is the ritual?
Yeah, I think, what do they have left to do to complete it? Because then we can possibly find out what those steps are and interrupt them.
Fair.
I won't answer without final confirmation for the record, just so that we can get your questions clear.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Carl?
Yeah.
Okay, give me your final wording, please.
What are the remaining steps for the What remaining steps must be taken to complete your goal?
Again, the babbling, though this time different. Blood was spilled, blood is owed. Every drop spent must be paid back.
Okay, so I'm guessing that they just need to keep
They need
I
blood.
bet you we have a number somewhere in that book none of us can read.
Yeah.
Probably a number of people died or something.
Every damned drop. Okay, by my count, that gives you one more question.
We're looking for a name, right?
Names do hold power.
So who is your master?
I might need to check a thing real quick.
Are you asking how to pronounce it?
No, I don't remember what name you gave me.
Oh, okay. If you've changed it, you should be fine.
I don't know if I've changed it or not. I'm looking.
Does it begin with D?
I'm still looking for the goddamn thing you sent me. I wasn't expecting that question. Here we go. I mean, I'm not sure quite how to pronounce it either, honestly, now looking at it.
Does it begin with D?
It does, yeah, D is the one you were thinking of.
dine'n'dash.
So that name again was dine'n'dash.
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 dine'n'dash?
It's... Well, I mean, kinda, yeah. I think the guy, like, whatchamacallit, he's famous for owning a magical cauldron in the IRLs, which I guess is dine'n'dash.
He's famous for decorating the skins of his shield and the shield of his warriors with the skins of virgins, believing it would give him magical protection.
Are we talking about the same guy?
What's the only sure virgin?
A goat.
No.
Yeah. Well, point being, dine'n'dash. And that one is less a babble and more of a chant, the same word, the same name, over and over again.
Can we please shut this fool up now?
Gladly, sir. Permanently or temporarily?
I dare say if our aim is to stop this ritual and hopefully save ourselves, there's a chance it could save the others.
Indeed. But the kind of hold this dine'n'dash has over these people, and clearly he has power. Power beyond anything we really are equipped to deal with, I would say, sir.
I fear might be, but we must.
Indeed, sir.
Sorry, I got distracted reading about the guy. Where were we going, folks? What's your next action?
I want to go raid the mountain next.
I believe, sir.
Yeah.
Our first action should be to tool up and ensure that we have the adequate supplies ready to destroy anything in front of us.
I'll bring my magnet stick.
Exactly. We should make sure all our guns are fully loaded, we are full on ammo as much as we can be, and that we have ample weaponry.
I will remind you that all of you are deathly tired. You, of course, have access to ample weaponry, but if there's one thing that's going to make you keel over more, it's carrying ample weaponry wherever you happen to go.
Engineer boy, can you fashion some sort of alarm, please, Mr. Schlorp? Alan, perhaps?
Alan nods gently.
Alan!
There's something to go off after, say, 4 hours.
I will take intelligence occult from someone, please.
I'm rolling a 4.
Diff 6.
I'd be 7.
I would be 7 as well.
You want to
Kind
take
of feels like you should be doing this, Cread, because you are the ideas guy.
Sure. Oh. What was the difficulty?
7.
Oh.
Still net 2 successes, even with the brace of 1s there. So, you certainly can sort an alarm. You can go to sleep. But if your assumption is that those people rounded up are for the sacrificing, it's going to take those cars a lot less than 4 hours to drive out there as far as they can into the moors and start to offload people to their doom.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I suppose there is quite high potential of a time constraint on our hands. How we'll deal with the matter when we get there, I'm not certain yet, but perhaps we should address it forthwith.
You have also been getting exponentially worse as the hours have gone on, and though sleep is helping somewhat, nowhere near at the same pace that you're getting more and more tired.
Brew us some strong tea, Reginald, and let's get to the mountain.
It did, sir.
Compared to what was brewed last time, we may as well just chew the leaves.
And that feels like a good spot to leave it for the week.
No. Can we leave it where we've already driven everyone out down the road preparing to assault the mountain, so next session starts up and everyone's just right there ready to go?
You know what, sure, you can get pile everyone into the car and then get ready to drive straight to White Mountain across the moors. And we'll leave it there. And for the record, Benji, you actually should go back to at least listen to the tea section, because Carl absolutely fucking savaged your Schlorped character, Schlorped replacement rather, when he wasn't able to scrounge up good enough tea. It was devastatingly brutal, honestly. So, anyone got any reminders for next session? Anything they want noted down?
We're off to see the mountain.
The wonderful Mountain of Death.
Boys are in the car.
Magnus Lupus is not our enemy? Question mark?
Big hopeful question marks.
Anything else?
Legionaries got many corpses. Probs go mountain. Well, people at the moment, I suppose. Seem to be corpses, I imagine.
Fair. Anything else?
We've tooled up and made sure we've got as many weapons as we possibly can do.
Fair. Anything else?
This is one of those ones where I'm not sure if it's a reminder or just my own curiosity, but legionnaires operate differently to regular folk to influence.
Fair. I misspelled legionnaires there. Fair. Anything else?
It seems so.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. In that case, feedback. Anything you liked, anything you disliked, anything you'd like to see more of or less of next time.
I like the werewolves attacking someone else.
Yeah, that was good.
I like getting to use werewolves. It's a fun time. I tend more towards using them as lupines rather than Garu, but still. How do people feel about the slight nudging with the time stuff on my end? Because I don't want to ambush you with irreversible. Well, now your half hypnotized zombie people get fucked, and it's way too late to do anything about it.
I did keep forgetting about time constraints, so I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I would say there are some instances where I say part of it is us faffing around.
Yeah.
So because you've done a pretty good job of the prompts, but I feel that just due to the way that we were playing, because it's only 3 of us tonight, we can do a lot more character roleplay stuff.
Yeah, I think that's entirely fair.
Yeah, I say, what's the term? Brings down the pace, and thus could have used a bit more of a kick rather than a gentle nudge.
Entirely reasonable. I'll try and bear that in mind for the next time we have 3 people playing. Cool, thank you. I'm glad to hear it's otherwise been okay, because I don't want to rush people too much with stuff. And obviously, you do still need sleep, but also
it'll be the long sleep.
Well, I mean, depends on what version of the brainwashing you get. You might just carve an Aquila in your face, spit on the king's shilling, and start marching for glorious Rome.
Perish the thought.
Abandon the kings? Never!
Siding with the Italians? Cool. Questions? Anything anyone was narratively unsure of in that session? Is everyone following the plot?
Again, this is one of the ones from the reminders that I say was partially just my own curiosity about the situation, but you did kind of mention it a moment ago, is different kinds of brainwashing. It seems like there's, a general Roman brainwashing, but it's, distinction between who, was made a soldier. Is it, just a pure coincidence that those who were already in the army, because of their military sort of, connotations and stuff? I mean, I appreciate you can't really answer most of that, but yeah.
That's fair. I think that's still plot relevant, so I definitely can't answer it now. But if it's not covered by the end of the campaign, we can do it in the post campaign.
Cool.
Fair. Cool. Any other narrative questions?
I say a slight difference. Because we heard cars going around, I'd say, considering that it's a very, very quiet town right now.
Yeah.
Were we able to gauge roughly how many armoured cars were chugging about?
It was mentioned a couple of times, I think. Either 4 or 5.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's fair enough to, miss a detail every now and then. Even if it's said twice, it still only takes, a second. You just have to not be paying attention or be distracted by, something, anything at those 2 seconds. But 4 or 5.
Yeah, because when I swap between phone and PC for when I go and smoke, there's about 1.5 seconds of delay before it picks up again each time.
Yeah, man, it's no worries. I mean, we're playing a digital session, so I appreciate that people aren't 100% attention. It's most attention on this most of the time, but you're doing other shit. It's
blame Frankie.
Yeah,
she was distracted.
I mean, if we let Benji play League of Legends for most of Rogue Trader, I don't think I could begrudge you playing with your cat. Cool. Let's do some XP. Is this the right one? What am I looking at? Oh, no, these are Space Marine notes. That's not the correct thing.
Space Marine!
Fifth Marine. Oh my god, sequel confirmed.
Yeah, I saw that. I never played the original.
I've got it.
It's good.
I do need to sit down and play
Steam.
it. I know he's going to be fucking, they're making the main character into a, what do you call him?
Primaris. Yeah, but that was
Primaris.
always going to happen. That was never not going to happen.
And as long as he is to the Primaris what he was to the Ultramarines, aka the fucking, fanboy Czech, I'm cool with that.
He is, because there's all that tactical bullshit that comes with Primaris Marines. What does Titus do? None of that shit. I'm gonna charge you with a chainsword.
My boy.
The Codex Extatus does not... The Codex Extatus does not put you in. Shut the fuck up, I'm gonna jump in.
The first game, Carl, was basically a love letter to one of your side characters is essentially a whiny Ultramarines fanboy Ultramarine character.
He's literally the Matt Ward version of the Codex is all things, we must never deviate from the Codex.
Exactly. And then the protagonist character is kind of you're a cool kid book actually adapts to battlefield situations, aka how the Ultramarines are supposed to be, ultimately pragmatic and kind of likable in a everyman type of a way, but not ridiculously pretentious and up their own arse about how amazing they are.
Relevant image in Discord.
Yeah, so it was kind of a love letter to how the chapter is supposed to be, not how the chapter very commonly is. Which is part of the reason I think it was such a popular game, is because it was very much dunking on what makes the Ultramarines shitty, but celebrating what is supposed to make them great. And I mean, I'm not an Ultramarines fan, but you had me at dunking on what makes the Ultramarines shitty,
It's basically everyone. The common consensus for the fandom has been that Titus is Rabute Gilliman's favourite.
Would have
because he's the only one who looks at the book and goes, I mean, it's useful, but it's not going to describe every situation. I'm going to do my own thing.
I did always like Tigurius as well, to be honest. Even though he's very, special superpowered, I like that very often he's special superpowered and does shit that he's very explicitly not supposed to, but they have trouble stopping him. So unlike a lot of the other Ultramarines who are best at thing they do characters, Tigurius is best at thing he do, but also, like, not a perfect human. He's just best at thing he do, but kind of a bit of a dick. And I find that more human. I also really like that the trailer, like, it kind of made the Tyranids out to be a little bit shite. And I was thinking, this is a bit wank. Why would you, guys, you kind of misunderstood why the Tyranids are scary. And then you, like, pop over at the end of it and it shows this massive swarm and you go, oh wow, they do get that they're supposed to be scary. And then it cuts to gameplay.
It looks like an ocean, but it's made of fucking Tyranids.
Yeah, and then they cut to gameplay and it's like, oh, you're fighting 30 of them at once. And just all of my fears wiped away in an instant. Obviously it's still difficult to do, like, the full horror of a mycetic spore invasion, but, like, holy shit, they've put their time in. So I'm kind of interested. I think it'd be fun. Anywho, yes, also, let's do XP. Let's do XP. Plot progression. Does anyone feel like you need us to do plot progression this session?
Yes, we got information on the villain, his motivations, how they're trying to resurrect him, and we're pretty sure we know where he might be. If indeed gendered pronouns can apply to something like that.
I do like the idea that past a certain point, vampires just automatically become a they or an it, depending on how personal you want to be.
I think is probably the appropriate appellation for an ancient vampire. Like,
they can do whatever the hell they want to be.
Exactly.
I think that what they are is a fanged monstrosity that is sort of slightly beyond human definition.
Sasha Vikos will still forever be one of my favourite characters in the setting. Who, at effectively a very important, like, first meeting of the Vampire UN, at the time he's male presenting, and he's so annoyed with the outcome that he rips his testicles off then and there, and flings them into the face of the lead delegate as he's giving the closing speech, and they hit. And at that point, Sasha Vikos, like, mic drops,
and just walks
out of the conference with his entire faction and leaves his pronouns dripping down this guy's face. And
I mean, the thing is, he's a vampire. They grow back.
I mean, but it's like the symbology of it.
Yeah. And he, at the time, he fleshcrafts them away and then becomes a they and then kind of, like, flits between genders for quite a while afterwards. There's a lot of stuff about Sasha Vikos that is not particularly good, but, like, that one moment, I've got more than one trans friend who looks at the character and goes, oh, yes. And even that aside, just the moment of awesome, fucking Hardestat is such a wanker of a character, and the fact that he gets a mouthful of airborne testicles at the biggest moment of his unlife is forever the funniest thing to me.
It's just the best. Everyone loves Sasha Vikos.
You gotta love Sasha Vikos.
Yes.
Cool, yes. Character development. Does anyone feel like you develop your character this session? If so, how?
Under stress, Reginald doubles down.
What was your under stress moment?
The sort of the general situation is not going well. Quickly. Defer to authority more. You're the one who spat it on the floor. Why are you crying?
Ah.
Because I didn't mean to. I just can't control myself yet.
Well, he can control himself just fine when he wants to poo or drink milk.
I mean, those are the baby minimums, to be fair.
Bird. Why? It's the S sound. He means bird.
How do I know that?
Just getting casually roasted by Rosie.
I can count. How do I know what a baby's supposed to say?
Sorry, it's just deeply funny. Okay, fair.
Cread. Okay, so I think everyone just doubles down because Sebastian ain't in line for that shit where he immediately ran away at the first sign of werewolf.
Yeah, that's what he did at the start of last session as well, actually.
Yeah, Reginald
tried
desperately to re-establish a chain of command, and Woodrow was drawn inexorably to go and look at the thing that ripped an armoured car apart.
It hadn't done it at that point, but the morbid curiosity. Not even morbid curiosity, that's full-on lure of the void.
But yeah, I do want it pointed out that I did play bait.
Yeah, I think Sebastian is brave when he has to be.
Yeah.
And at no other time. and I kind of like it. Like, life on the line if it's required, and if it's not, I'll see you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile.
Yes, I mean, that's one of those things, like, I think it's quite nice of this character, like, the way I play that in that regard, because it's just like, oh, shit going down, I'm out of here.
I have quite liked it. You do regularly position yourself. In fact, you know what? You should probably get a point of willpower back, right? You're paranoid, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah, and you noped out early and thereby, like, completely negated the werewolf section for yourself. Yeah, you can have a point of willpower for that. But yeah, no, it's and when you're not noping out, you like position yourself to be ready to nope out if you have to pretty regularly, which I think is quite nice. Excellence of roleplay. Does anyone feel like anyone else roleplayed particularly well this session? If so, how?
I quite liked the. I'm trying to find a good way of phrasing it. But the tenseness in the characters when Benji and Chris were in the room watching a werewolf, and then it like twigged onto them.
That was beautiful. The like proper horror movie moment of says a thing under breath, monster immediately snaps head round. Fuck. Entirely non-verbal fuck.
Whole conversation passed through the look of the eyes.
Anything else?
I think Creed did quite well with his playing the curiosity to the hilt. He knows what interests him and doesn't interest him. The book, no. It contains the number 13. It must be shunned. Giant werewolf. That's something to investigate.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with the playing up to his flaw things. I was just going to make him take a courage roll, and rather than do that, he just noped out immediately and flung the book to the floor, demanding someone else read it instead. So I quite liked the like refusing to even take the roll. Any other excellence of roleplay? Yep, cool. In that case, I make that out to be. Oh, I've cut the P of the. Should be points. There we go. Oh, can I not favourite there? That's annoying. Why have I done this awful thing? I make that out to be, I believe, 9 points for session number 36. That's 3 points of plot progression. Got the information on the villain's motivations and where he is, or it is. 3 points character development. That's Reginald reaffirms his traditionalist values. Woodrow risks it all for a glimpse of the woofer, and Seb nopes out. 2 points excellence of roleplay. Reginald and Tango panic silently, and Tango refuses to even look at the number 13, plus 1 standard.
What was the total there?
9.
Damn!
Which brings us on to everyone's favourite part of the session. It's the highlights. Benji, do you have any highlights for that session?
Creed takes up Overwatch with magnet stick.
Yeah, I do like that he was charged to give covering fire, and he's got like the rifle leaned up against the window on one side, just peeking over with his magnetron. Dear.
Highly educated man, no cells, knowing basic Latin.
Fair. Anything else?
Let's hope the enemy of our enemy is not very interested in us.
Anything else?
Handkerchiefs to the rescue.
I'm so glad you got that, because I was kind of afraid you were going to wind up gagging him with the rope, and my brain was screaming, handkerchiefs, handkerchiefs, but I didn't know how to breadcrumb it any harder.
I think that's everything for me.
Fair. Cool. Creed, do you have any highlights for that session?
Yeah. Sebastian kicks a guy in the nuts.
Yeah, that was surprising for all involved.
Very effective.
Yeah. I think it was the surprise that got him more than anything as well. It was like a lot of face mutilation shouldn't be that bothered, but a surprise shot to the crotch will get most people. Sorry, what was the next one?
Reginald Batmans it when he just balled out the alley, and took almost everyone down immediately.
Better not be a pun.
Oh, it wasn't, but I guess it is now.
Rage. Any of the highlights?
Wonder Werewolf? Question mark.
Wonder Werewolf.
What is the
secret of your power? Any
I
of the
just
highlights?
listen to Tenacious D.
Old dine'n'dash.
Yeah, I had another highlight that was very similar. So
Any of the highlights?
Was it?
Cool. Coral. Any highlights for that session?
Yes, I believe we will start with some out-of-context quotes this time.
Okay.
First one is 10 minuters. Bless you.
Fair.
I think that was a sneeze, I'm not sure.
Cough. Any of the highlights?
Cum skirt.
I'm sorry?
Cum skirt.
What?
Where did that come from?
No, I see. You used it in the sense of it's X, cum X,
Yeah.
but he's taking it out of context to mean.
Because you were talking about how the Legionnaires trashed their friggin' uniforms.
God damn it. Okay, fine. Fucking. I'm putting in the toga.
No, that's
Oh
less
God,
fun
it looks
then.
even worse with that.
Toga cum skirt. Yes.
Ah,
Okay.
Latin, why you do this to me?
And the final out of context quote is, "You can fit more in it a squeeze."
Hold a sec, I'm desperately trying to damage control this fucking quote. Carl, you've devastated me. We've only just started uploading on Spotify. What if we get banned?
What if?
It's so
Or
far.
when?
I don't think
Censor me.
anyone's paying attention. Sorry?
Just censor me. It'll be fine.
Just censor you. Just remove you from the highlights. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I say more serious highlights now. Remembering there are other locations on the map. I just love that we went to the first place and then Tutley and then the mountain and that's it.
Okay.
There's an army barracks here, isn't there?
Yeah, I didn't know if the army barracks was actually going to come up or not, but I think we needed a bit of drama for this. So I've had it in reserve basically for a while, and it seemed like we needed a little bit of external drama added this week. So I decided now was the time to bring it up.
It's not a great period of map where it's not scrolled away or covered by nameplates. I'm looking at it.
And the final highlight from me is monsterous massacre. See, I was going to call it Doggo Dine and Dash, but I wasn't quite sure on that because he didn't really eat everyone. It was just that last one.
Yeah.
She kind of squeezed out like a tube of toothpaste.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Any of the highlights?
Werewolf says, fresh squeezed.
No, I believe that's all from me. Thank you.
Fair. I think that's about covered everything. And no, I'm going to add the getting to use the armoured cars. I've been wanting to use the armoured cars for ages, but I haven't really had a good slot for them. It was nice.
The armoured car design looks so stupid.
It really is. It's like, oh my god, fucking. Do you see the one I posted above? So that's a Belgian dog-drawn light machine gun.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was a tiny dog carriage.
I love the idea. So what's your role in the army? Well, I'm a dog handler / machine gunnist. Phenomenal.
I mean, if it wasn't for having to feed and take care of the dogs. It would actually be a pretty good idea, like it saves the freaking soldiers from being tired lugging around the machine gun the whole time, right?
Well, it probably is quite a good idea. Honestly, like I've been asking friends about like interesting theatres in World War One, and one of the things that was pointed out to me is that Belgium had an incredibly interesting time because like 100,000 of the soldiers escaped the German attack, and then just had to spend like the next 4 years of war integrated into the French and British command structures, but they didn't have any industries. They were always having to like beg or steal ammunition and guns and such off of the other armies involved in the war, and constantly spoiling for a fight because, like, Belgium was a good chunk of the land getting blown up. Meant they had an interesting time, basically. Also, they really invested in defenses, like fortification defenses, just before the war. So when the Germans invaded, like, a lot of their fortifications held out, but they couldn't strike out of them, and the Germans just brought up their giant super heavy guns and spent like the first month of the war pounding the Belgian fortifications into nothingness.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think the best bit of any World War is still Colonel Wojciech.
God damn it, no.
What's wrong with Colonel Wojciech?
Fucking dumb hoy memes.
That's not dumb. Like, the Polish army literally has a unit that adopted him as their official symbol.
Yeah, lots of armies do. He can become king in the new expansion.
Of course he can.
King of Poland. He's a bear. He's a bear that a Polish
Polish artillery unit.
Polish artillery unit. They didn't rescue him. They bought him in Persia, and he would do tricks, but they couldn't feed him sufficiently, so they had to get him a ration book so he'd get food. And he,
the reason why he's got a ration book.
Yeah, so he'd get food.
It's because no. The regulation for the British Navy refused mascots and pet animals as transport, so they enlisted him as a soldier. That's why he had a ration book.
He used to eat cigarettes, and by the Sicily campaign, he ate Sicily. So he got a ration of cigarettes as well as food, and he just ate them for most of the war. And by the end of it, they'd successfully taught him to act as a loader, so he'd served with some of the artillery crews in the Sicily campaign.
They'd get past shells by a bear.
Yeah, literally. The crates were full of shells, and they normally required 4 men to carry, but he's a bear, so he can carry them on his own.
Which, like, it's not surprising, because they're quite smart animals, right? So it's not surprising that they could teach him, to an extent. Still a smart bear. It's not surprising he could carry them. It's surprising that the bear was okay with the fucking noise, and just learned that, this is fine, it's just a thing that happens. Imagine trying to charge a little artillery position, and you come up and there's just a fucking bear wearing a little Polish army uniform hat.
Handing a man a bomb.
I kind of have to take a minute and be like, am I already dead? Like, what's going on here?
I'll find a picture of him. Here he is. I think he lived in he lived in a zoo after the war. So he lived in
Edinburgh Zoo.
Edinburgh, there we go. So he got a pretty good retirement.
It wouldn't be allowed now, but people used to toss him cigarettes to eat.
Well, they probably shouldn't have been tossing him cigarettes, right? That's not wrong. There's a little.
He probably had a taste for them at that point.
Yeah, exactly. There's a statue of him up in Edinburgh, carrying a little shell. It's cool because like
so happy.
Exactly right. Because quite a lot of animals have been inducted into the military at various points, but outside of horses and donkeys and pigeons, I guess, comparatively few of them are. I mean, one, those aren't given like ranks; they're just equipment by and large. But two, they're very rarely able to, like, that penguin that's in the Norwegian military. That's never actually gone into combat, but Wojciech did. My guy. Anywho, he gets a little crown if you make him King of Poland. Cool, that was a whole fucking tangent at the end there. Yeah, so I'm going to put the armor cars down, because I've been wanting to use them for ages, and they look so dumb. Thank you everyone for a very entertaining session number 36. Does anyone have any final words for the recording?
Fuck Leandros.